Hello, love. It's Kat here. Welcome into today's Pick a Card reading. I am so grateful and honored to be here with you today, love. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me. All right, love. So for today's Pick a Card readings, we are tapping in to see what does your inner child want you to know. So today's readings are going to be connected to messages of insight and guidance and experience that may come from your inner child, your true self, your first self. All right, love. So these readings, sometimes they can be a little bit heavier, and we may be receiving messages of guidance that are connected to shadow wounds that were implicated during your childhood. Or these readings may be a little bit more fun and free-hearted because just like when you were a child, may have been really carefree, you didn't have to worry about things, and so there may be some things connected to the energy of being a carefree child that your inner child wants to remind you of and share with you once again. And then we may also just get some insight of memories or maybe insight and guidance on connections that you've had since you were an inner child. So these readings can take different forms, so just be kind to yourself and remember to, just be kind to yourself when you're listening to these messages of guidance, because they can take different avenues where some may be a little bit heavier and some may just be a little bit more fun and free-hearted, and just a remembrance of sorts. All right, loves. But with that being said, let's go ahead and see what our pile choices are for today's readings. All right, love. So I have 4 different decks here, and each deck is showing the 6 of Cups because the 6 of Cups is the card in the tarot decks that represent the energy of your inner child or your childhood self. So for pile 1, we have the 6 of Cups interpretation from the Lightseers tarot deck. From pile 2, we have the 6 of Summer, which is the 6 of Cups from the Fairy Tarot. For pile 3, we have the 6 of Cups from the Cozy Witch Tarot deck. And for pile 4, we have the 6 of Vessels, which is also the 6 of Cups interpretation from the Wildwood Tarot. All right, love, so those are our pick a card choices today. Go ahead and choose which card, which pile is most calling out to your intuition, which one's speaking to your inner child. And then I will have timestamps listed in the description box down below that will correspond to when each pile's reading begins, which is where I'll meet you. I'll see you there. Hello, love. Welcome into those of you who chose pile 1. So if you selected pile 1, you are drawn to the 6 of Cups interpretation from the Lightseers tarot deck. All right, love. So let's go ahead and get into your reading today. So for your reading today, we are tapping in to see what does your inner child want you to know? What messages of guidance or insight do you need to receive and hear today from experiences and situations that you may have gone through when you were younger? All right, love. So first we are going to be shuffling the deck and pulling out your tarot cards, and then we'll get into your messages of guidance. So while I am shuffling the deck here, or attempting to shuffle, go ahead and take a moment to set any intentions or ask any questions that you may want to receive guidance around when it comes to a specific experience or situation in your life, or maybe there's a specific experience that's coming up from when you were a child, something that you experienced when you were younger. So go ahead and take a moment now to set those intentions and ask those questions, and trust that you will receive the answers, the insight exactly when you are meant to. All right, love, so let's see what your cards are today. All right, so first we have the 3 of Swords. All right, we're starting off with the 3 of Swords there. We also have the High Priestess. We have the Star. We've got the 2 of Swords. have 18, the moon. Okay, lots of major arcana here. And then we have 2 swords. All right, so there is definitely a situation here where you may get in your mind a bit, and you may struggle to come to definite decisions because of a painful experience that you went through when you were a child. Okay, and this I'm going to be honest with you. If you chose pile 1, this is very heavy energy here, where you went through something very challenging when you were a child, so much so that it appears as though you have tucked that difficult experience away so that you don't have to process and feel out the heavier emotions that are attached to that painful experience. But the energy of that experience, it still lingers within your subconscious, and it currently is affecting your ability to make clear, definite decisions to be able to move forward in certain aspects and areas of your life, if not all areas of your life. Okay, now with the High Priestess and the Star here, I'm getting 2 different messages. So one, it feels like based on the painful experience that you had when you were a child, you started to compartmentalize because of that experience. So it's almost like when you go through an experience of trauma, sometimes people will start to compartmentalize in order to pull themselves out of having to process the heavier energy of emotions and mental aspect and physical aspect that trauma takes on the body. They start to compartmentalize and push it out, and they layer it with something which can be called, like a distraction or a fantasy. And so because you were younger when this occurred, you may not have been able to fully grasp what it was that you were going through. Your inner child just felt the painful experiences of that situation. And because, children don't always want to feel those heavier, harder emotions, or because they're taught to start to compartmentalize them, don't cry, smile, put it away, don't scream, don't yell, don't get angry. All those things are coming up where somebody may have told you not to express the emotions of what it is that you were feeling in the moment when you were feeling them. And so you started to mask, or you started to distract yourself. So there's almost like this layer of like creating a false reality or creating some type of fantasy reality in order to compartmentalize what it was that you were actually going through and experiencing on a mental and emotional level. Okay. So now what I'm seeing, the other thing I'm seeing with the High Priestess and the Star here is, and also your inner child coming through to let you know that you are safe, you are heard, and you are held, no matter what it is that you go through in life. And also what's coming through, your inner child is coming through very strongly now, actually. Okay, so that was more like the explanation of what we're dealing with here. Now your inner child's coming through with a softness, a subtleness, and they want to let you know that you are safe and that it's okay for you to feel what you feel when you feel it. And it's only through you allowing yourself to feel what you actually feel and to give yourself permission to actually express those feelings that you're going to be able to come over to the other side of being able to make decisions for yourself with a deeper sense of clarity and inner knowing. You already have the awareness of what it is that you want to do in a specific aspect of your life, or maybe even in all aspects of your life. Okay, this is going to be different for everybody, but there's most likely a situation or experience in your life that you're going through right now where you're unable to clearly decide what to do. You're torn between 2, 3, 4, 5 options, or you're getting hung up on the how. You know what you want to do, but you don't quite know how to execute what it is that you want to do. And it's in part because this is also connected to something that It's connected to something that is rooted in your emotional body. It's something that you really want to do. It's something that you're passionate about. It's something that comes from within you. All right, it's something that you've prayed for, that you've wished for, that you've hoped for, but you're unable to see how to clearly move forward with it because, like I said, there's this underlying subconscious layer of somebody else telling you how to feel or how to do things, how to show up as yourself, even if it's not your true self. Okay, such as like with the emotional layer where you wanted to cry, but somebody told you to stop crying. You wanted to scream, but somebody told you to not scream. It's not polite. Don't do that. We don't act like that. Okay, it's almost like giving that energy of whether you're masculine or feminine being here. I'm just getting this as an example where it's like, you know, you're taught to be ladylike or taught to be gentlemanlike, you know, present yourself, brush your hair, put your hair behind your ear, cross your legs, stand up straight, all of that. Just like being told how to present yourself, even though how you're feeling internally is not how you are truly expressing yourself on the outside. And so you're learning how to show the deeper parts of yourself for yourself and from yourself. Okay, that's the energy that you're working through right now. All right, so we got taken a little bit on a rant there, but coming back around. So it's very likely that you're going through one or two situations where you're trying to make a decision, but you're unable to come into that deeper knowing of exactly how to make this decision definite for yourself because you're taking on the thoughts, the opinions, the ideas of others around you, or you just have that voice in the back of your head from when you were a child and your parents or your guardians or your teachers were telling you who to be and how to act. And so what you're wanting to do may go against the grain of how somebody taught you how to be. And so you're learning how to find a balance in that energy because, yes, of course, you know, in society, we do want to show up and present ourselves in a specific way, but you're also learning that it's okay to present yourself as you are, where you're at, and you don't have to feel upset. You don't have to feel hurt or rejected by that either. Okay. All right, so let's see if anything else comes through here. I just feel that there's going to be a lot of inner work that you need to do here around allowing yourself to process the emotions that you're actually feeling and experiencing in the moment to moment of your day. All right, I feel like you may be somebody who rides the roller coaster wave of emotions here, but because you don't allow yourself to actually express them, they get pent up and they can be channeled in ways that you don't necessarily want them to be channeled. All right, so this can come through like the energy of projecting or masking or distracting yourself with things that you don't actually want to be practicing or distracting yourself with. Okay, so there needs to be some awareness coming back around to, you know, how you're feeling in the moment and where that emotion is rooted from and how you can give it what it actually needs. Okay, so if you're feeling like an emotion of anger, maybe you just need to scream. So go outside and scream, or get in your car and close the doors, close the windows, and just scream. Pick up a pillow, scream into the pillow, right? Maybe they're emotions of sadness and you just need to cry. You just need to go shut yourself in a room for a few minutes, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, and just let yourself cry it out. Maybe go take a long bath. Baths are very healing, all right? Just like here with the moon card, getting in a natural body source of water or getting in the bath over a shower will help you to also release any pent up energy or emotions that you're working through as well. Okay, and then on the other side of this, your inner child's coming through to let you know that they've got you and they are helping you to work through these energies of being able to come into this energy of being able to make definite decisions for yourself so that you can move forward with clarity and confidence around what it is that you actually want to achieve and pursue in your life while showing up as yourself as you are, mentally, emotionally, and physically, and not trying to hide or mask parts of yourself from others or from the situation that you're trying to pursue. All right, loves, let's go ahead and pull your oracle cards now. So we are going to pull some oracle cards from the Nature's Whispers Oracle deck. All right. You have a lot of twos here. You got two twos. So twos may be following you around. And twos also represent the energy of growth. They represent the energy of taking steps, moving forward slowly but surely. Okay, this isn't a race. You're not racing towards this healing that you're on right now. So just be with yourself where you are in each moment as you are. All right, so we have one, make a wish. All right, so you have two wish cards. The star is a wish card, and then you have one with actually telling you to make a wish here. We have 49, heighten your vitality. And we have 16, inner truths. All right, so what's coming through with these cards here is, one, I'm feeling that your inner child wants you to go back and to almost remember a time before you experience these heavy emotions of feeling as though you had to hide these parts of yourself. And they want you to go back and to practice things that your childhood self would practice before you develop this thick skin around having to sort of monitor your every choice and decision. Okay, so this is more like that carefree childhood energy. So what were things that you found yourself doing that you did just because it was fun, just because it's something that you wanted to do? Okay, such as like the interpretation here on this card, picking up a dandelion from a field of dandelions and blowing the wisps in the wind and making a wish and not thinking anything more of it. All right. So something simple like that, you know, or even like going out into a field of wildflowers and making a small bouquet with these flowers to go give to somebody that you love. All right. So these are just some examples that are coming through. Maybe just going into the garage, tinkering around with random things that you would find in the garage and you just experiment with. Maybe you'd make stacks and pile things up as high as you could, or you just, you know, kind of venture around in there, seeing what was in there and learning more about the tools or the random objects, the stuff in storage that your parents or your family would keep out there in the garage. Okay. Or even, you know, getting on your bicycle and then just going for a ride down your street and the neighboring streets, or maybe you live near the woods or the forest or the ocean and you just get on your bicycle and go biking through the nature around you just to explore, just to have fun. You wouldn't have all this pressure of mind, mental thoughts weighing down on you. You know, well, what if I do this and this happens? Or what if I do that and this person thinks this of me? There was none of that. There was just you doing what you felt called to do in the moment and doing it just because it piqued your interest, because it was something you thought would be fun, because it was just something you were feeling guided to do. Okay, so your inner child wants you to try your best to surrender back into that state of energy and to just go do something because you think it's fun, because it's something that you just want to do just for you, without a care in the world about making a result or making a decision to come of whatever practice you are pursuing. Okay. All right. Okay, and so Spirit's saying through that practice, okay, this is going to help heighten your vitality and being able to gain the clarity and the confidence that you're seeking to receive or to latch onto when it comes to the aspects of your life where you do have to put some mental thought into it, into making those decisions that you're getting hung up on from being able to make in your life now. Okay, so there's sort of this energy that I'm seeing here where it's like you're also unable to make this decision on which path to pursue with a deeper sense of clarity and knowing or exactly how to do it, because you're so focused on it and you have like a cloud of energy over this decision that you need to make, with worry or concern about how it's going to come to light or what's going to happen or who's going to think this and that if you make these decisions. All right, but if you surrender from needing to make that decision, you surrender from the pressure that you're putting on that decision, and you just go do something just because it's fun, very naturally the answers are going to make their way towards you. Okay, but you need to separate from this energy just for a brief moment and to do something fun. Okay, that's what your inner child is asking of you. And there's just also going to be a magic that you're going to discover in allowing yourself to release the pressure from your mind, from your heart, from your body and soul when you go and pursue something just for the sake of pursuing it, because it seems fun, because it seems interesting. All right, loves, let's go ahead and pull your next few cards now. So we're going to pull some cards from this deck here. This is the Secret Garden deck, and these are cards with little words on it, little theme words. So let's see what messages come through for you. And let's get one more. Okay. All right, so first we have Radiance. Keep your head held high and follow the sun. Radiance. Keep your head held high and follow the sun. And then we have Persevere. Leave no stone unturned. Leave no stone unturned. And we have Transform. Rise above any situation and become the best version of you. All right. And we have Release. Lighten your load with release. All right, loves. So with these 4 cards coming out, what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing a couple different things. Okay, so one, a spirit is they're telling you not to give up. Okay, there is something that you do want to do, that you want to pursue in your lifetime. And it's very much connected to something that you have wished for. It's something that you have hoped for, but you haven't been able to receive this energy of, you haven't been able to receive the energy of what it is that you are trying to receive from this experience, because there are subconscious layers to it that you haven't allowed yourself to bring awareness towards. Okay, and a lot of that is what we've talked about in your reading today, such as those underlying emotions, the distractions, the masking, the inability to express yourself authentically. Okay, and so through you going within and heeding that guidance that we talked about today, integrating it, and also surrendering to whatever it is you're trying to make a decision around, surrendering the pressure that you're putting on that decision, that you're putting on that path, and going out and just allowing yourself to have fun, you will naturally be able to transform this experience as a whole to be able to gift you with the confidence and the clarity that you're seeking. Okay, so we're not asking you to dim your light, we're actually asking you to go within and brighten your light, okay? You do seem like somebody who already tries to put yourself out there, put yourself first and foremost in external situations, but there are just some deeper layers here that you hide from others about yourself. There's inner truths that you don't want others to have access to, and it's because when people in your past had access to that, when you were a child, they rejected you, they told you to stay small, they told you to stay quiet. And even though you've overcome that in some ways, there's still an inkling of energy that you hide, that you mask from the world, from being able to see your full, true, authentic self. And the world wants to see who you truly are on a core level, but more so than that, I think it's more important for you as an individual to make peace with what it is that you're actually feeling and what it is that you actually want to share and say from, you know, in connection to what it is that you're hiding from. Okay, and so again, when you allow yourself to take the pressure off of where you're trying to make those decisions and go out and have fun, so release yourself of those binds, release yourself from that pressure, you will then be able to transform the energy as a whole and persevere forward on the path where you're not receiving that clarity, where you're not receiving that concise energy of knowing exactly how to move forward. And that's when this energy of radiance and vitality and strength and knowing is going to flood forth, and you'll be able to move forward with actually receiving the return on your wishes, your prayers, your hopes, and your manifestations, and the work that you have put forth. All right, love, so let's go ahead and pull your last card now. So we're going to pull one last card from this deck here. This is the Woodland Wardens, and these are just animal guides and plant allies. So we're just going to see what animal messenger, what plant medicine wants to come through for you today as a parting message from the insight your inner child wanted to share with you today. All right, so yours is the Trout and Lily of the Valley with Purification. I love this. The Trout and Lily of the Valley with Purification. All right, so I don't usually get this message, and personally, anyone who knows me knows I'm obsessed with the game Animal Crossing, and Lily of the Valley is a flower that blooms in that game when you get a 5-star island. And I've pulled this card in many different readings. I've never gotten this message before, but the game Animal Crossing may be significant to somebody who has chosen this reading, but I'm also getting that just gaming in general may be something that your inner child really enjoys doing. It's where they find a sense of peace, but I'm also seeing it's where you may find a sense of distraction. So maybe you're still a gamer, and when things get heavy, when things get hard, you like to turn to your games to kind of turn off what it is that you are working through on a deeper internal level. And so this could be a sign or confirmation that when you find yourself trying to turn to the world of games or even books, you know, reading, anything that you find yourself turning to, because it provides you with this sense of distraction from what's actually going on in your life. So this could also be TV shows, watching movies, reading books, going into game worlds, anything like that, where you're kind of consuming a story or a world, a fantasy world. This is your sign that you may be trying to distract yourself from what you're actually feeling and experiencing on a deeper level. And so if you are able to catch that awareness and notice yourself turning to those things in the moment, when things feel heated, when things feel painful, when they feel sad, try to just take a moment to tune in to what those emotions are actually trying to communicate from you, versus trying to just distract yourself with those gamings, those fantasy worlds, those books, whatever it is that you choose as a means of coping there, okay? And just allow yourself to feel out those emotions. And like I said in the beginning of your reading, maybe you just need to scream, maybe you just need to process the tears, but there will be wisdom and there will be healing in allowing yourself to process and feel out those emotions. Emotions just want to be expressed. They're just an energy that wants to move through you. It means nothing about who you are as an individual. It just means that you're human and that you feel emotions. All right, so just let yourself feel those emotions when they come through, and it will allow you to purify yourself of whatever triggered you into feeling those heavier emotions that you're feeling. And it will also provide you with insight of answers or awareness around why you felt triggered to express those emotions in the first place. Okay. All right, another thing with the trout coming up is this is just reminding me of fishing. So fishing could be a practice that you enjoy doing or that you find peace within. Maybe you like to eat fish. Maybe you have pet fish. All right, I know that's very drastic there, drastic interpretation, but something around fish is significant here. But I'm heavily getting fishing and eating fish. Like it's just maybe a favorite food for you. Maybe you like to have like raw fish like sushi or ahi or tuna or eel or something like that. All right. Trout, I think this is also a fish that is like, it's like a seasonal thing. And so maybe during the specific time of year when you can go to the rivers and the lakes and see the trout, that could be like a significant time of year for you. It's something that brings you joy. It's something that may like also return you back to experiences and feelings of childhood. I'm also seeing for a specific person that the initial experience that triggered you into starting to kind of hide these deeper truths of yourself, your emotional expressions, your mental truths, your authenticity, it may have been triggered at a time when you were out on a fishing trip with a family member or you were out by the water. Okay. All right, love. So that is your animal guide though, trout, and then your plant ally is lily of the valley. So if you feel called to, you may want to look up deeper insight on the trout and the lily of the valley. There may be some deeper insight or guidance that your inner child's wanting to share with you from this specific animal guide and the specific plant ally. I'm also going to throw in dandelions here. These dandelions are also very significant. All right, loves, but that is it for your reading today. Those are the messages that your inner child wanted to share with you today. So I thank you so much for tuning in and for allowing me to bring forth these messages of guidance. I know that your messages were a little bit heavier. So take care when you're integrating and processing the messages of guidance that came through in this reading. And if you do want a little deeper support as you're working through this energy, I do offer one-to-one healing sessions and personal reading sessions where we can go deeper and get more specific guidance that is individualized just for you. And we can bring you deeper insight and healing as you work through this energy that you're working through right now. And I can just be of support to you on that journey if that's something you're interested in. All right, loves, but I thank you so much once again for allowing me to bring forth these messages of guidance. If you enjoyed this reading, please give this video a thumbs up and comment down below letting me know that you were drawn to pile 1. All right, loves, I'm wishing you a beautiful, blessed day. Until next time, bye. Hello, love. Welcome into those of you who chose pile 2. So if you are drawn to pile 2, you chose the Fairy Tarot deck with the 6 of Cups interpretation here. And I'll read this to you. So this says, children or childhood, the return of people or romances from your past, remembering events differently, in a better or worse light than how they really occurred. So this is just the interpretation of the 6 of Cups, which represents the energy of today's reading, where we will be tapping in to see what does your inner child want you to know. All right, so we are getting messages of guidance and insight that are connected to experiences and situations that you may have worked through when you were a younger child or when you were younger. All right, so let's see, what does your inner child want to share with you today? And so if you have any questions or insight around a specific experience or a connection or a situation that you went through when you were a child, go ahead and take a moment now to set those intentions and ask those questions. You can also choose to set an intention or ask a question around a specific situation that you're working through in your life right now, and we'll get some messages of guidance or insight in connection to that specific situation that your inner child may want to share with you about that situation, okay? All right, love, so we are going to pull all your tarot cards, and then we'll get into the messages of guidance that want to come through for you today. All right, so let's see what we're working with. All right, so first we have 8 Justice. Take the time to review the details carefully. You will win in the end. Fair and objective decisions. You know, this came through in a previous reading I shared. It was the one about friendship. We had Justice very strongly. I'm sort of getting that same energy from this Justice card as well, but we'll see. So let me know if you listen to the friendship reading. I think it was titled, When Will You Meet Your Next Best Friend? Let me know if you chose the same pile where the Justice card came out, and it was like a whole reading about the justice systems and something going on with the courts. But let's come back around to this one. Let's see, you know, what cards you have and how the messages play out. But I'm just getting that same kind of energy from that. All right, so we have 2 of Autumn. Bring fun into everything you do, juggling multiple priorities or jobs, and exceptional talent for multitasking. We also have 0, the Dreamer. This is the Fool in traditional tarot. And this says, embrace your true purpose, begin a new adventure, trust yourself. And we have 18, the Moon. Powerful, intuitive epiphanies, letting go of worry and fear, understanding the truth of a situation. The Moon just came out in pile 1's reading as well. So if you were torn between pile 1 or 2, maybe you want to check out pile 1 as well. Of course, listen to your intuition above all. All right, we also have 7 of Spring. Be assertive. Don't back down from what you believe. Courageously stand up for yourself. All right, so pile 2, your inner child is asking you, why are you playing small? Why are you playing it small? What's going on here? All right, they want you to believe in yourself fearlessly, like you did when you were a child. I feel here that when you were a child, you didn't give an F about anything anyone said to you about you. We also have 222 on my clock right now, 222. So 2s may be significant for you. 2s also came up in pile 1's reading. So you may be torn between pile 1 or 2. If you are, that's just another confirmation there. But you also have the 2 of Autumn here too. So 2s may be following you around. All right. I'm also getting Gemini energy with the 2s and Pisces energy. All right, so Gemini represents the twins. Pisces, we have the 2 fish in the symbol there. So you may be a Gemini or Pisces if you were drawn to this reading. All right, but your inner child wants me to come back around to what's going on here, pile 2. Why are you playing it small? You know what you want. You know what you want, and you know that once you decide what it is that you want, that you are going to be able to make it happen no matter what. And it seems here that you are allowing outside opinion or influence to persuade your decision around you moving forward with what it is that you actually want. And pile 2, you are playing it so small. Like, there's something that you really want, but you're not allowing yourself to pursue it. You're not allowing yourself to go after it because it seems too far away, because somebody told you you can't, because somebody made fun of you for making that decision or choice. Maybe you're letting bigger things get in the way, like financial reasons or like the elements of time, just things that you're going to have to wait on or things that you're going to have to save on. You're just letting limitations which are also known as excuses, get in the way of you from being able to actually move forward on the path towards the dream that you have set in your heart and your mind's desire. There's something that you want and you're just not going for it. You're just like, oh, I really want that, but this person made fun of me or they told me I couldn't have it. So I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to settle for this instead. And you're convincing yourself that that's what you really want, when deep in your internal being, in your heart space, you know that you're settling. You know that that's not what you want. And so your inner child's coming through to kind of kick you in the butt and say, hey, what's going on here? You know better. We know better. We can get what we want. We just have to set our mind to it and keep working at it every single day. And eventually we'll get there. We'll make it happen. Who cares what the person beside you said? Who cares what your neighbor said? Who cares what your mom and dad said? Who cares what your aunties and uncles said? Who cares what your grandparents said? Who cares what your employers, your coworkers, who cares what they said? Or your friends? You never cared when you were a child. If you wanted to wear a vibrant, bright green and green shirt with like bright yellow pants, you did it. And you rocked it. You didn't care who told you you could or couldn't wear that. You were like, this is my favorite outfit. I'm going to wear it every single day. Okay. And so I know that things are a little bit different from when you were a child, and it's no longer about just what you're wearing. This is something much bigger than that. And that's why you should be pursuing this with the same tenacity that you had around wearing whatever you wanted to wear when you were a child, is because this is something that's so much more important to you and your future path moving forward, your future self, your inner child. This is like a childhood dream that you've sort of set on the bylines. You've just kind of pushed it aside because somebody or something, opinions came in and persuaded you to do something different. I'm also getting this message where maybe you went through a recent experience that was unjustified to you. It was like unfair for you, and you may subconsciously be worried or concerned that that experience is going to repeat itself. Okay, but I am seeing in connection to that occurred because once again you were settling in spaces that weren't what you actually wanted to be doing, what you actually wanted to be pursuing. So anytime a situation comes in and it's removed from your life, it's either one, because it's a protection, or it's two, it's because it's not something that you were actually meant to be doing up to the point when it was removed from your life. It's sort of like a shake from the universe saying, hey, wake up, why are you settling for that? And I'm seeing here in your specific reading, it's likely that that was taken away from you because you were settling for something or someone that just wasn't in alignment with what you actually wanted to be pursuing, or who was actually somebody that you were connecting with. Okay. All right, pile 2. So your reading's a little different. It's more like a little kick in the tush. Like I said, your inner child's coming in swinging. They're trying to wake you up and say, hey, what's going on? We've got this. They're saying, you've got this. It may be hard, but you've got this. All right, the 7 of spring, it's all about making a decision and then going for it no matter what. You have a setback, great. You know how to overcome it. This just means you've got to pivot, you've got to try something different, and you got to learn from it. But you've got this. Your arrow got stuck in a tree, you go in. Oh, you can't get it out of the tree by pulling it out because it'll break your arrow. So, okay, we got to carve some of the tree out. Or you just pull your arrow out and then you build the arrow again and make the arrow again. Okay, so it's just about learning how to overcome those obstacles and setbacks, and knowing that even though you have obstacles and setbacks, because either way, whether you're settling or pursuing your dream, you're gonna have obstacles and setbacks and challenges that you have to overcome no matter what. So do you want to be pursuing obstacles and setbacks that are actually getting you towards the spaces that you want to be moving towards, or do you want to be overcoming obstacles and setbacks that you really don't care about because it's not something that you truly want to be doing and pursuing? All right, let's see what your oracle cards are here. So we have 32, trust your own understanding. We have 50 with potential gateway. And we have 46 with gratitude and appreciation. All right. So right away, why aren't you trusting yourself? Why aren't you trusting yourself? You may be feeling a lot of animosity right now towards the specific situation that you're in. One, because of a previous experience or situation where you felt things were unjustified, like you were shifted into the position that you're in now of having to settle for less than you deserve or less than you want because of an experience that sort of propelled you into this energy. But that in itself was just a setback. It was meant to be a shakeup to guide you towards the truth of your actual potential. And so if you are feeling on the opposite side of gratitude and appreciation, where you're feeling down, you're feeling torn, you're feeling unsure of what to do, how to move forward, it's because you're not allowing yourself to admit to yourself that you are allowing yourself to exist in spaces and connections that were not what you wanted to actually experience on a soul level, on a heart level. You were settling for less than you deserve, and you are still trying to do that, and your inner child's coming in and saying, stop doing that. You're going to keep getting these shakeups until you admit to yourself, until you dive deep and admit to yourself what it is that you truly actually want to experience on this specific path, in the specific situation that's being challenged right now, that's being shaken up. And so there is this guidance coming in that if you are unsure of what I'm speaking about here, you're like, Kat, I really don't know what it is that I want. Okay, which can make sense because we have the Two of Autumn here. Your guidance is to get still, get quiet with yourself, because on some level you do know what it is that you want. Your inner child knows what you want because they're coming in swinging. They're coming in hard with these messages here. They're like, hey, what's going on? Why are we settling? You know what we want. It's something you've most likely wanted since you were a child, because your child's coming in so strongly and they're coming in and asking you like, hey, why did we get so thrown off course? We were on the path to pursuing this or to achieving this, and then this little setback came in because they were trying to repivot you towards the path that your inner child actually wanted you to be on, and they're like, but now you're getting pivoted away even further, you're going for something that's even less than that, and they're like, hey, come back. Like, they're trying to pull you back to the actual path that you've been wanting to pursue, maybe since you were a child, or maybe when you were a teenager or like a young adult. There's something that you started to set your mind towards. There's something that your heart was calling you towards, but because things got in the way, life got in the way, opinions got in the way, things other people have told you or said to you got in the way, and you started to believe those things that weren't yours to begin with, and it pivoted you off the path that you actually wanted to be on. And now you're sort of in that in-between space, all right? Something's been removed from your life so that you could be repivoted back towards pursuing this possible dream of yours. The gateway is open, the gateway of you pursuing this dream, okay, going down the fool's path, taking a leap into something kind of new, something renewed, something that you actually want to be experiencing and pursuing. That gateway is now open for you to pursue, but you have to get real with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself, and you have to admit to yourself exactly what it is that you want. I'm also seeing here some specific guidance coming in around maybe making a pros and cons list, or making a list of like what it is that you want to experience in this specific situation versus what are deal breakers for you. So that way you are able to come back to that list and check in with yourself on whether or not you're settling for something that's a deal breaker, because we don't want you settling for those deal breakers. We want you to have everything that you want on the want side of that list, on the pro side of that list. We want you to have all the pros. We want you to have all the things that your heart's desiring. Your inner child wants you to have that. And your inner child knows that you have what it takes. You have the grit, you have the confidence to assure yourself of actually meeting all those demands. All right. You know how to negotiate. You know how to make demands. Why are you letting other people call the shots for you? Yeah, Spirit's like, ew, stop doing that. Stop letting people dictate what it is that you want to pursue. And dictate it for yourself. Declare it to yourself for yourself. Because that's when the gratitude and the appreciation for life and your path as a whole is going to be renewed, and it's going to come back in for you. All right, loves, let's go ahead and pull your next oracle cards. Let's see. I'm sorry, loves. I know these messages are heavy and loud. Your inner child's loud. It's like he or she is vibrant. She's loud. She's ready to kick some ass. And she's just like, what are you doing? Why are you hanging back in the background? We're supposed to be front and center on this front stage. We're the lead role. So that's your inner child for you. All right, let's see what else we have here. Okay, so the unicorn caught my eye. So unicorns may be a significant symbol for you. I've also been really drawn to this like little Pomeranian dog here, like a little Chihuahua Pomeranian. All right, so Pomeranians. Oh, we also have the red cardinal. Okay, so any of these signs or symbols could be significant to you specifically. To your inner child. So these may be things that you really liked to draw or to have, like maybe you had a lot of memorabilia things, or like t-shirts or backpacks with unicorns. Maybe you had a Pomeranian dog when you were a child, or maybe you like to watch the Cardinals, or you had like a stuffed red cardinal. All right, let's see what your next cards are. So we have move. A rolling stone gathers no moss. It's time to move forward. We have breathe, slow down and contemplate the tea, violets, and ivy tangled around the eaves. We also have potential. No way. Why are you sleeping on your potential, pile two? Pile two, you have potential twice. Potential, the littlest key can open the heaviest door. All right, and we also have dare, take a risk and fly. The dreamer. This is all about flying, taking a risk, believing in yourself, trusting in yourself. All right, pile two, your Secret Garden Oracle cards are just confirmations. First off, you want to breathe. If you are undecided on exactly where it is you want to move forward with in this dream of yours, that is your sign to slow down. Okay, like I said, if you're not quite sure, you have some indecision, it's likely you have indecision because, one, you're still healing from a previous experience where something happened that felt a little unjustified to you. And so you are taking that experience to heart, and you're tuning into it a little bit too much. You're believing that that was actually justified when it wasn't, okay? The only way that it was justified is in the sense that the universe took that situation away from you because you were settling in an experience that was not in alignment with the dream path that you're actually wanting to pursue on a soul level, on an inner heart level, okay? The other reason why you may be having some indecision is because you're settling in a space. And so when you're too wrapped up in a space that you're settling in, it can become familiar. It can become very comfortable. And then you don't truly know exactly how to get out of that situation or how to move forward on a new path. And so when you're too wrapped up in a situation like that, one, the universe may come in and take it away in a way that feels a little bit unjustified. And then you're going to have to work through that processing as well. But you have the guidance here that you need to slow down and come back into yourself. Pull yourself away from those situations, even just temporarily. mentally, let go of those experiences and situations as being something definite in your life, and allow yourself to just surrender to your breath and to come into that understanding of your own, to come into your intuition. And that is where the potential gateway will reveal itself to you on the deeper truths of what it is that your soul and heart actually want to experience. And the insight around the first steps to putting yourself on that path will be revealed to you when you allow yourself to actually access those deeper truths, which are living within your body, mind, and soul. So breath work is heavily being recommended for you here, Pile 2. Meditation, anything that allows you to connect with your breath and your body. So movement like yoga practice, Pilates practice. I'm specifically seeing Kundalini yoga, which is a little bit challenging for some people because it's more like movement with chanting or with a meditation connected to it, but that is really being guided here for you, so you may want to try Kundalini yoga. And then also just nature walks, just going out into nature and going on a walk. Leave your phone in the car, leave your phone at home, leave your headphones at home, and just allowing yourself to be present and to tune into your breath and the connection of your breath with the nature, the environment that you're walking through. This will also help you come back into your own intuition, your own inner awareness around what it is that you actually want to move forward towards, so that you're no longer feeling ungrateful or unappreciative of the experiences, situations, and connections that are existing in your life, or so you're given the guidance on how you can elevate those experiences and return to the energy of gratitude and appreciation for those experiences, okay? And so then once you come into that understanding, then you will very fluidly, very naturally know how to move forward, how to take those risks, how to take those leaps of faith on yourself and your dreams and your vision. So just like your inner child was coming in the beginning of the reading, you will know how to stop settling. You'll know how to make your demands be met. You'll know how to get what it is that you want when you want it. It's available to you. You have unlimited potential. You're the only one who's limiting yourself with those limiting beliefs, those excuses that you keep settling for. And your inner child's like, no, that's icky. We want more. And you can have more. You can have it all. You can have it all. And I know as I say that, there's that doubt coming in. That doubt's not yours. That doubt's somebody else's. They implanted it into your mind. And you know that's not your doubt. You can have it all. Your inner child knows you can have it all. That's what they're telling you. They're like, yes, we can have it all. Let's go back to that dream that we always wanted to pursue. So go back to it. All right, love. So we are pulling one last card for you today, and these are animal guides and plant allies. So let's see what your animal messenger is and your plant medicine is. All right, there we go. All right, so we have the vulture and asphodel. Upheaval. It's time to create this energy of upheaving all the things in your life that you're settling for, all the things in your life that just keep you feeling ungrateful, that keep you feeling unappreciative and unappreciated by others. You know, if there's situations in your life where you're still feeling as though you're trapped in situations that are unjustified to you in the moment that you're living in them, it's time to say goodbye. It's time to shed those experiences and those connections from your life and to move forward into new lands of potential where you will be appreciated, where you will be honored, where you will be held and loved as you are, and for all that you bring to the table and offer to others. All right, loves. So the vulture is your animal guide here for you on this process. And I know you may be thinking like, vulture, oh, but you know what? Vultures, they don't give an F. And that's the energy that you need to embody. Vultures are eating that roadkill on the side of the road. They don't give an F. And you know, something else that's coming through with the vultures is a lot of them, and I think you have the right word. I think vultures can sometimes be seen together in packs. But I don't know, now that I'm saying that, I think they might be individualized. Or like in pairs. They're usually in pairs. But I'm seeing this energy of like a pack of people. So there may also be this insight coming through where it's like you want to work in a group setting, or maybe you work in a group setting now, but you're feeling as though you want to go on your own individual path that is shifting away from the group. And that can be a little bit challenging here, because like what was coming through in your reading is there's like this overhanging cloud of opinion and of influence from others, and this is something that you're going to have to work on overcoming, because you've allowed the opinion, the influence of others to really penetrate into your mind, into your body, and into your decisions that you make for yourself on your own individual paths, specifically when it comes to the things that you actually want to be pursuing and doing in your life. And so there is this underlying lesson that you're going to have to learn around coming into making decisions for yourself when it comes to your own personal life and the dreams and the things that you actually want to pursue in this lifetime, versus going with the status quo just because it's easier. It may seem easier on the surface, but deep down within, you're ultimately just settling for less than you deserve, for less than you want. And so again, your inner child's coming through and they're saying, stop settling. You used to not care when you were a child. Like I said, you would wear that bright green top with those bright yellow pants, and maybe it looked funky, but you rocked it. Or whatever it was. That's just an example. Maybe you like to color your hair like crazy colors, like bright orange, and maybe you'd put some like greens in it or bright pinks, and none of the colors matched, but you loved it. You didn't care. Maybe you had bright blues in there. You didn't care. All right. And so same thing. This is like what you're working through now, is you're wanting to get back to that energy of not caring, of opinion, of influence, or thoughts of other people, and you shouldn't. And whenever you allow yourself to make the decisions for yourself based on what you actually want to make for yourself, and you allow yourself to pursue those decisions, you then give other people permission to do the same thing too. They may judge you at first. They may have their thoughts, opinions, and influence that they're trying to infiltrate you with, but eventually they'll be like, you know, maybe I want to do that too, or maybe they want to do their own thing, and you'll be able to support them and love them through it, even if they weren't able to do that for you, because you'll just know. You'll know that they have then entered into their own personal land of potentials, and they'll be able to move towards their own personal dreams and stop settling for the status quo. All right, so the other one we have here is asphodel, and I don't know too much about this plant, but I am feeling, let's tap into the energy of this. I feel that this is also about authenticity and needing to just really be your true self. And once you allow yourself to do that, everything, the spaces that you've been settling in are going to come up. They're going to unroot themselves from your grip, or from the grips that they had on you. And this will very naturally allow you to move forward with peace, understanding, and again, that renewed energy of gratitude and appreciation flooding back into your life. And then from that space, you'll be able to just very naturally make decisions and take those leaps of faith on yourself without stopping to question, or without having to go through this healing process once again. So this is almost like a one and done. Once you align yourself with the path that you actually want to be on, that you actually want to be pursuing, and you stop settling for the spaces, places, and connections that you're settling in that don't vibrate with your heart's true desire, you'll very naturally be able to continue making choices for yourself from your heart center, and demanding and receiving exactly what you want and deserve. All right, love, so that is it for your reading today. I thank you so much for allowing me to bring forth these messages of guidance for you from your inner child. You have a spunky inner child, and I just love their energy. So thank you so much for letting me bring forth these messages for you. If you would like to go a little deeper, maybe there's some things that we talked about in your reading or some things that you're working through in your personal life that you would like a little bit more insight or guidance on, and you'd like some one-on-one direct support from me, I'd love to be of support to you on your individual journey. And I do offer one-to-one personal readings and healing sessions. You just have to send me an DM on Instagram at selfunity, and we can set up a personal reading for you on there. All right, loves, I thank you so much once again. If you enjoyed this reading, please give this video a thumbs up and comment down below letting me know that you chose pile 2, and let me know what it is that you're going after. I'd love to be of support to you as you move closer towards those dreams that you're going to kick ass at. All right, loves, I thank you so much once again. I'm wishing you a beautiful, blessed day. Until next time, bye, loves. Hello, love. It's Kat here. Welcome in to your reading today to those of you who chose pile 3. So if you chose pile 3, you were drawn to the 6 of Cups card from the Cozy Witch Tarot deck. And I'll just read this to you. It does say, give yourself the compassion you were never given. And so this is the 6 of Cups interpretation, which represents the energy of the inner child, which is what we are going to be receiving insight and guidance on in your reading today. We're going to be tapping in to see, what does your inner child want you to know? So if you have any questions or intentions that you would like to set around an experience or something that you went through when you were a child, a connection you had, go ahead and take a moment now to set those intentions and ask those questions. Or there may be a situation that you're working through in your life right now. Maybe there's a connection that you're working through. You can also take a moment to ask a question around that situation or experience, and you can see if your inner child will bring forth some insight or guidance that they'd like to share with you about that specific situation or connection that you're working through in the present moment, okay? All right, so we're going to shuffle the deck, pull out your tarot cards, and then we'll get into your messages of guidance. So let's see what your cards are for today. All right. Oh, we have 3 there. Okay, so we'll take those. All right. All right, so let's see what your tarot cards are. Okay, so we have 15 with toxic witches, okay, can't talk here. Be cautious of those who take more than they give. And this is the Devil card in traditional tarot. All right, we have the Page of Cups. Let yourself be continually surprised by this thing called life. All right, and we have the 4 of Cups. Try not to be so picky, okay? And we also have 20, Judgment. All the signs say that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And we have King of Cups. Always compose yourself before giving a response. All right. All right, love. So we have some powerful cards, some powerful energy we're working with here. And so what I'm getting here is pile 3. You might not like this, but I feel your inner child is affirming to you that you're currently exactly where you're meant to be. All right, I feel as though you are trying to will yourself out of a situation that you don't particularly like being in. Okay, so pile 3, you've got the throat chakra clearing coming in here. Usually I get this in 1 out of the 4 or 5 pick a card readings that we do at any set time, and you are the one with the throat chakra here, throat chakra healing. And so I definitely feel what's coming through in connection to everything I just shared with the throat chakra, with you being in the spaces that you don't want to be in, but that's where you're meant to be. It's most likely because you are in connections of relationships that are teaching you lessons about yourself. And what's coming through specifically is there is this need to face something with like a means of confrontation. Okay, so it's likely that you're going through a challenging experience that you don't particularly want to be in, because you are not giving voice to what is bothering you about this situation. So it's almost like you're settling for something, or you have implicated boundaries and then you've allowed those boundaries to be crossed over. Or maybe you haven't even addressed that there's a need for boundaries in a specific situation or connection, and you're just giving into people-pleasing tendencies, or you're just letting people do what they're doing without voicing your concerns about how it's affecting you and how it's causing you pain or how it's causing you frustration. And it's very likely, this is very common, that this could be something that you have carried with you from childhood. All right, it's very common for children to take on personas of people-pleasing tendencies, or not wanting to stir the waters because they are afraid of emotions of frustration or anger, or any sense of emotion that can be evoked or invoked with conversations of confrontation. And so it is possible that your inner child is coming through to sort of help hold your hand and to guide you through this experience where you really don't want to be in this situation or experience, but they're coming in and they're saying, we have to go through this experience together, because in the past, when you were younger, you weren't able to really stand up for yourself and assert your boundaries. It's very likely that you just had to accept the boundaries that were implicated upon you because you were following the orders or the rules of your caregivers, your parents, teachers, principals, whoever was above you, whoever was your guardian. But now you're in a position where you have to claim authority over your life. And there are some situations and experiences where you're going to come upon connections with others where they're doing things that affect you in a negative light, and you're the one that has to take the reins to affirm that they are hurting you in some way, and you have to stand up for yourself and address those situations and concerns. Okay, so I know it's hard to hear, but you are exactly where you're meant to be. And Spirit's coming in and they're saying, even if you try to get out of this situation, what you're going through when it comes to the connections and relationships in your life is very likely to repeat in some way. It may not be the exact same way, but in the sense of having this sense of frustration of the connections that you have with others will be repeated in some way if you do not choose to confront these experiences and situations that are causing you frustration, that are causing you pain, that are causing you to feel as though you're having to take, a seat in the back and just let people walk all over you, or let them talk behind your back without including you in the conversation. Okay, or maybe somebody made your cup of coffee wrong and you're unable to address it and say, hey, this isn't what I ordered. Can you make it the right way, the way that I ordered it? And so there is this need to just learn how to stand up for yourself and confront these situations that may feel a little bit uncomfortable at first, because you don't want to cause the same frustration and pain that you're feeling to these other individuals, but they may not even know. It's very likely that they don't even know that they're excluding you from the conversation, that they made your order wrong. Maybe they mixed your order up with someone else's order and they just didn't realize it. Maybe they thought you were just being shy and they didn't want to invade on your introversion, like you wanting to be more introverted. They didn't know you wanted to join in the conversation, or they were just so invested and excited by what they were talking about that they didn't realize that you weren't bringing yourself into the conversation too. And so there is this need to just develop a deeper sense of awareness about where you're allowing yourself to take a back seat versus where it's time for you to get in the driver's seat and steer the conversations or steer the direction of what's happening and occurring to you in your life for yourself. Okay. All right, let's see if anything else comes through here. Let's see if there's anything else your inner child wants to share with you today. Okay, so we have like a lot of people drinking things. Really interesting. We've got the wine glasses, we've got like the cup of tea, cup of coffee, coffee here, coffee there, tea there. So tea, coffee, and wine is being highlighted. This could be a confirmation for somebody. I'm very strongly picking up on the coffee just because we have the coffee there, we have the coffee example, we've got the this looks like those what are they called, the coffee presses, I think the French coffee presses or something like that. And then she's got the coffee there. So something with coffee is coming up. Because we do have the devil card, this can represent the energy of addictions. And so maybe somebody's trying to create a sense of balance with like a coffee addiction or a caffeine addiction. This could also be something in connection to a relationship that you had when you were a child, where maybe an adult that you struggled to speak up to. Okay, so maybe there was an adult in your life who was a very strong authoritative figure and you felt uncomfortable talking with them when things were challenging, like emotionally challenging or mentally challenging, where you had to give voice to what you were actually feeling about an experience because you didn't want to disrupt their thoughts or their energy in any way. And it's just very likely that this person had like a strong coffee addiction, like they just always had a cup of coffee, or you just remember them drinking coffee, or like you just remember the smell of them brewing a pot of coffee. Okay, so something with coffee is really significant for pile 3, but let's get out of that coffee spiel there. all right, so let's go ahead and pull your oracle cards now, because I think that's like the majority of the message that your inner child, your spirit guides want to share with you with these cards here. I am feeling just a random message for pile 3. Some of you may be going on a vacation soon, or you have a vacation planned, but I'm feeling this energy where like you aren't excited about it. It's not something that maybe you would have chosen to do. Maybe it's like you're going somewhere you didn't really want to go, but when you brought the idea to like your family members or to your friends, they just sort of started taking over the vacation planning and you felt a little bit excluded, and so now you don't really feel as excited to go on this trip, to go on this vacation. And so if that's true, this is your sign, this is your guide to take control of at least, you know, one event that you're going to do when you're on this vacation. Okay, if you've already booked the tickets, it's already set in stone that you're going. Know that you can cancel the trip if that's something that you want to do, but if that's not something you are keen towards doing, you still want to go on this trip, you still want to go out with your friends or your family, try to, you know, set a boundary with them and say, hey, we're going to be there for 3 days, so I'm going to take the second day and I'm going to plan events for us, or I'm just going to go off and do my own thing that I want to do. Okay, so do something where you're affirming to the community that you're traveling with, but then set in stone something that you want to do just for you, so that you're not constantly just people pleasing while you're on this vacation, or you're not constantly taking a back seat. Same thing with that metaphor that we're using there, back seat. If you're going on a vacation with 4 to 5 people and you want to sit in the front seat one day, or you want to drive one day, make sure that you affirm that. Make sure that you set that boundary and say, hey, I'm going to drive today. I'm going to decide where we're going today. Or, hey, I would like to sit in the front seat so I have a better view of some of the things that we're seeing, because you always get to sit in the front seat. Okay, so just work on voicing these small little changes that can make you feel a little bit better about the experiences and connections that you are connecting with every single day. All right, love, so let's see what your oracle cards are. So we have 15, catch your breath. 15 with catch your breath. And then we have 46 with gratitude and appreciation. All right, this card just came out in pile 2's reading. So if you feel called to, you may want to check out pile 2's reading as well. But always listen to your intuition on that. All right, and then we have 37, ideal course of action. Ideal course of action. All right, so let's see what's going on here. All right, loves. So with catch your breath. Oh, okay, I'm seeing. Okay, your message is coming in subtly. I almost feel like your inner child is hiding, and he or she feels a little bit nervous to come forth and to share their wisdom with us, with you, because there's this underlayer of feeling afraid in some ways. There could be fear of judgment, fear that you're going to do something wrong or that you're going to say something wrong. All right, fear that you're going to upset somebody. And my love, that is life. We cannot filter ourselves for the sake of others. All right, no matter what you do, somebody's going to have something to say. But you're the one who has to live with you, and you're the one who has to live with your life. And I know that your inner child has these fears because when you were a young child, you didn't always get a say. There was always an authority figure above you who you had to listen to, who you had to follow orders from. But now you are the authority figure in your life, and you're going to have to learn how to navigate that newfound responsibility for yourself. And you have to take responsibility for yourself as being the ultimate authority in your life. You can't constantly hand it over to somebody outside of you, because that's just another adult. That's just someone outside of you. And they don't know who you are. They don't know what you want. They don't know what you like. They don't know what you don't like. You're the one who has to decide what you like and what you don't like. And so your guidance here from your inner child is to get still and quiet and to sit with yourself so that you can hear the whispers that your inner child is trying to share with you around the things that they like, around the things that they love, around the things that they find a deeper sense of gratitude and appreciation for. And this is also going to be expanded into the relationships that you're allowing into your life, where there may be connections that you have that you are just sort of settling for. Like maybe you're just falling into these patterns of people pleasing, doing things that they want to do without giving voice to things that you want to do because it's just very natural to you, because it's what you had to do when you were a child. But now, once again, you're an adult. You're now the authority figure in your life, and you can affirm to these individuals that you don't really want to do those things that they always want to do. You want to try this other thing. You want to try this new thing. And if they don't want to do those things with you, that's okay. They don't have to. Just like you don't have to do the things that they want to do with them, okay? And so there is this need to really navigate and to learn to rediscover the things that you actually enjoy doing versus giving voice and affirmation to the things that you don't enjoy doing, and letting others know that it's okay if you like different things. You can still support each other. But I'm also getting this energy where as you start to go within and rediscover those deeper truths about the things that you like and don't like, you may find that the connections you've allowed into your life are not the ones that you want to continue connecting with in the future. All right, so there may be a lot of changes that you're going to be working through over the next couple weeks to months. I'm seeing more so months. This is going to be a process here of like 4 to 5 to 6 months where you're rediscovering the things that you really like doing, where you're starting to set those boundaries, where you're starting to speak up for yourself, and then in return you'll receive responses from the people you're in connection with, and some of them may be supportive, some of them may not be supportive. And so then you'll have to go in a little bit deeper and decide if these are connections that you still want to remain remaining in contact with, okay? So ultimately, through you slowing down, coming back to yourself and deciding upon what you want to do, what you enjoy doing, you will have this new course of action that is revealed to you on how to best move forward in your life so that you are receiving the support and the joy and the fun and the love and the gratitude and appreciation that you're hoping to experience in all situations and connections in your life. Okay, so some symbolism coming through that I'm drawn to here. We have the flamingos. So flamingos, we've got the lion here. This looks like a lotus flower a little bit. Lotuses, we've got the iguana, dandelions, acorns, moths. Oh, these are really pretty moths here. And then also the unicorn as well. And these kind of look like poppies. I don't think they're poppies, but poppies are coming up. So poppies could also be significant. So any of those symbols may be significant to you in connection to an experience or memory from when you were a child, or in connection to somebody from your childhood, who the authority figure in your life. Okay, so the other thing I noticed was we have 15 here and we also have 15 there. So this could also be something, this energy of going down the path of not being able to give voice to what it is that you want and to your boundaries and to your likes and dislikes may have been initiated around the time when you were 15 years old, okay? All right, love. So let's see what your next oracle cards are. So we have potential. The littlest key can open the heaviest door. Okay, this card also came out in pile 2's reading along with the 46 here, gratitude and appreciation. So if you were torn between pile 2 and 3 and you're really feeling called to listen to both, you may want to check out both. All right, we also have wallflower. Look for the crack in the concrete to find your way out. We have transform. No way. This came out in pile 3 as well. Transform. Rise above any situation and become the best version of you. I meant pile 2, not pile 3. You are pile 3. And we also have generosity. Sow seeds of kindness. All right, loves. So I feel that you're having a really difficult time in your relationships right now. And it's because you are constantly allowing yourself to show kindness and generosity at the sake of yourself. You're not allowing yourself to be kind and loving towards yourself, but you're being indefinitely kind and loving towards others and putting their needs and desires before yours. And so these cracks in the concrete keep happening. Like you keep having these cracks forming, and it's because these cracks are trying to show you the potential of your ability to grow through the cracks. Okay, and so what I mean by that is these cracks keep happening. These challenges, these emotions of frustrations, these emotions of feeling less than, of not feeling heard, of not feeling supported, keep happening because in some way you're allowing them to happen. But you're going to come upon a point where this can no longer continue to happen because your emotional needs are not being met. They're not being reciprocated. And it's because you're choosing to hang out in the background, to stay away from the crowd, to stay away from the conversation, to not tell them they did something wrong because you don't want to hurt their feelings, because you don't want to offend them, because you don't want to ruffle anyone's feathers, okay? But all in the process, you're getting hurt because of it. And so once you start to take those steps to give voice to the truth of what it is that's bothering you, what's affecting you, that's when the potential for the transformation can be initiated into this connection, all right? You are not allowing them to show you their means of generosity and kindness towards you by choosing to just put them before yourself. So once you start to take up space and you offer yourself the generosity and kindness that you want to receive, you affirm to them what kind of kindness you want to receive from them, of just being heard, of just being seen, of receiving something in return, of maybe them doing things a little bit different or trying something new with you, or telling them, hey, you put the sugar in my coffee, I've told you so many times I don't want the sugar in there, or hey, you put the whole fat milk, I want the almond milk. Just affirming to them what it is that they're doing wrong can give them space to show you how they can do it right for you, by you. All right. But you're not giving them that opportunity. You're not giving them that chance to show you that they want to love and support you in the same ways that you're loving and supporting them. All right. And like I said, for some of the connections, it may not work out that way. You may decide that they're still not listening to, even when you give voice to your concerns and your frustrations. And so then you'll have to address whether or not this is a connection that you want to continue moving forward with or not. But it's very likely that you are having this experience in multiple connections in your life, and that there will be some connections that will reciprocate, that will respond to your desires, to your wishes, when you start allowing yourself to give voice to those desires and wishes. All right, love. So let's go ahead and pull your last card now. So we are going to pull one last card from the Woodland Wardens deck. And these cards have animal messengers and plant allies on them. So we're going to see what your animal guide is and what your plant medicine is. Okay, you have two popping out. So you have the weasel and the pine with introspection. And then you have the wolf and rosehip with guardianship. All right, loves. So right away, this is confirmation once again, where it's time for you to look within and to provide yourself with the guardianship, with the authority that you are seeking in all the spaces outside of yourself. Okay, this is almost like that energy of where you're wishing somebody would come along and save you. And I know it's hard to hear this, but you have to be the one to save yourself, okay? You are now in the position of authority over your life, and it's time for you to stand up and be the authoritative figure that your inner child is asking you to be. Your inner child feels unheard. That's why he or she is so quiet and hanging out in the background, is because there's no one standing up for her or him. And they want you to stand up. They want you to say, hey, I've got you this time. We're going to get through this. We're going to get what we deserve. We're going to get the support that we need. We're going to be heard. They're going to do it right. They're going to do it right by us, or they're going to get kicked on out of here. All right? And I know it's hard to start doing. I know it's hard to start implicating those boundaries, because it can be very easy to fall into patterns of comfortability with the way things have been, but you're starting to see that your emotional needs are going unmet, and in some ways your physical needs are going unmet, because you're not receiving that emotional and physical reciprocity of the kindness and generosity that you're providing to these relationships and connections. And you are suffering because of it. Your inner child is suffering because of it, because this has gone on since you were a child. It's very likely that you didn't have an authority figure standing up for you and your emotional reactions, your emotional responses, but now you get to be that authoritative figure in your life and stand up for yourself and speak your truth aloud, so that the changes that are required for you to feel safe and comfortable in these connections and situations, in order for you to feel loved and heard, will actually happen, will actually come in and provide you with the potential of the transformation that you're seeking, to receive gratitude and appreciation of your presence in these connections. Okay. All right, loves. So your animal guides, you have the weasel and the wolf. I'm also picking up on some coyote vibes here. And then your your plant medicine is pine and rose hips. So I'm feeling called to share. You may want to just like do like a Google search, look up more information on these animal guides and these plant medicines. There may be some deeper insight or guidance in those informational articles or info that you find in connection to this experience that you're working through, okay? All right, love. So we also have the blue. I'm really drawn to the blue background and the black background here. So blues, again, that represents that throat chakra energy that we've been talking about, needing to speak and express your truth. And the black can represent our root chakra, needing to ground. Okay, so you may also want to practice some throat chakra and root chakra meditations, or just bringing your focus, your awareness, your breath to those chakras. Throat chakra is right there on your throat line. Root is on it's at your perineal, but you can also root into your feet. All right, usually when we're doing root chakra meditations and physical grounding, we want to focus on our feet, and a great way to ground your energy into the root chakra is through going outside barefoot, putting your feet in the soil, in the sand, in the grass, in the earth, and just envisioning that you are grounding into your body, your spirit, your energy. It's grounding into your body through those feet, strong feet, and that your feet are grounding into the earth itself. All right, that will help you to ground into your energy, which will help you to ground into the awareness and gain the confidence to be able to express the truth that's needing to be expressed through your throat chakra, through your voice. All right, love, so that is it for your reading today. I thank you so much for tuning in and for allowing me to bring forth these messages of guidance for you. If you would like deeper support as you work through this energy, I know it can be hard work to set boundaries. It takes time too, like I said, 4 to 6 months for you to really work through and settle into this energy. So if you would like deeper support and would like to work one-on-one with me, I do offer individual personal readings and healing sessions. You just have to send me a DM on Instagram at selfunity, and we can set up a one-to-one personal reading or healing session for you. All right, loves, but that is it for your reading today. If you enjoyed this reading, please give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below letting me know that you chose pile 3. I love to hear from you all in the comments below how the messages resonated with you. And I just thank you so much once again, my loves. I'm wishing you a beautiful, blessed day. Until next time, bye, love. Hello, love. Welcome into those of you who chose pile 4. So if you were drawn to pile 4, you chose the 6 of Vessels reunion interpretation from the Wildwood tarot deck. All right, love, so we are going to start off by shuffling your cards today. And today we are tapping in to receive messages of guidance and insight from your inner child. So what does your inner child want you to know? So while I'm shuffling the deck, loves, if there's any questions or intentions that you would like to set to receive guidance around, whether this is from an experience or connection that you had when you were a younger child, or if this is a situation or experience that you're working through right now, go ahead and take a moment now to set those intentions and ask those questions, and trust that you'll receive the guidance exactly when you're meant to. All right, love, so we're going to pull your tarot cards, and now we will see what's going on. Let's see what your cards are today. All right, so we have 10 of Vessels with happiness, 10 of Cups. Woohoo, most positive card in the deck. All right, and we have the Knight of Vessels with the Eel. All right, 4 of Stones with protection. 3 of Arrows with jealousy. And we have the 8 of Arrows with struggle. All right, so we are working with Cups and Swords energy here. We've got the Pentacles, 4 of Stones. So let's see what's going on here, loves. All right, my loves. So I feel if you chose pile 4, it's very likely that you often find yourself in situations of defeat. Okay. And so what I'm seeing here is I almost feel as though you constantly go through experiences where you constantly tell yourself, like, what else is next? You just constantly are finding yourself up against a wall again and again. But it's really interesting because we have the contrast over here of the Ten of Vessels and the Knight of Cups. And so what I'm seeing here is it's very likely that when you were younger, when you were a child, you may have grown up in environments or connections that your adult self, when you look back on those experiences, you see the true struggle that your family unit or your unit of guardianship, or whatever it is that you had to go through when you were a child, you're able to see that it was not the most stable foundations. But your childhood self didn't see that. You were just a child and that's all that you knew. And so you made the most of what you could with what you had because that's all that you knew. But as you got older and your vision for life, your perspective of life began to expand, you started to see and create these sort of mental divisions around how you grew up and the type of environment or the type of connections that you grew up in. You started to place judgment upon it as being something of like less than, or a situation of lack, or a situation of struggle. And so you may hold a lot of animosity towards the ways in which you grew up and the environments that you grew up in. And it's very likely that the things that you struggle with in your life now as an adult are because of that animosity that you hold towards the experiences that you went through in childhood. Even though when you were a child, you didn't view those situations as you are now from your adult perspective or from your teenage self perspective. Okay, this is like a perspective that you started to implicate on your childhood like environments and connections the older you got. So likely like preteen to teenage to young adult to now. Okay. So what's coming through with that? Okay, so that's what we're working with here. So let's see what what else Spirit wants to share, what else your inner child wants to share. So I feel that Spirit is, okay, I see. So your inner child, they almost want you to go back to that lens that you had when you were a child, because the views, the perspective that you've taken on upon the type of environment and connections that you grew up on, they are preventing you from being able to access the joy, and happiness that you want to access when it comes to your personal goals in life and your means of emotional fulfillment that you are seeking to receive. I do see for some of you, this may not quite make sense because I'm seeing a divide here where some of you, you're constantly going through that energy like I talked about, where you constantly find yourself in situations and experience of struggle where you're constantly being put up against a wall. On the other side of that, some of you are, there's two different sides. So one, you're constantly being put up against a wall. The other side is you look back on your situation that you grew up in childhood as being less than or lackful, or there's just like this energy of discontent towards it. And so now you see yourself as being above that. But deep down within, no matter which side you're on, deep down within, your internal emotions are not being met to the fullest extent. Okay, because you're either holding some sense of animosity towards the type of childhood you grew up in. And again, this was a perspective that was implicated the older you got. It's not something that you held on to when you were a child. Or you've learned from that struggle and it's now conditioned into your subconscious, and so it's preventing you from being able to actually access the joy and the emotional fulfillment that you're seeking when you're trying to pursue your goals and the things that you're committed to in your life. Okay, Now, the Four of Stones. This card is all about having options, okay? This is about not seeing what's truly there. It's like you're looking at all the things that are present in your life, but only the things that are right in front of you, and you're missing sight of what's within you, or what's right behind you, or what's right beside you. You're just like focused on looking right in front of you, but you're not looking to the right, you're not looking to the left, you're not looking behind you, you're not checking your back, you're not checking below you, you're not checking above you. You're just focused on what's right in front of you. And so Spirit's coming in, they're saying there are other options available to you, but you're so focused on trying to satisfy this one thing in this one way that you're missing sight of the other means of availability and potential that are there for you. So for some of you, I do see that because you hold a lot of animosity and pain towards the way in which you grew up, and it's like almost like there's like a vengeance here, where it's like you're seeking this energy of avenging or revenging the way in which you grew up. So maybe you didn't grow up with a lot of money, and so your life goal is to make a lot of money, but you think you have to just do it this one way, and you're missing sight that there are other possible ways to get there. Or maybe it's not about the money at all. Maybe it's about something deeper, an emotional attachment that you're harboring around what that energy of money and abundance actually means to you on a deeper level. So there's something here that you're missing sight of, and even though you think that you keep hitting yourself up against a wall, you keep facing these struggles, Spirit's coming in, they're saying you are being protected in some way, because Spirit and your inner child knows that you're seeking true emotional fulfillment, and they know that you're carrying this heavy pain, you're harboring pain and vengeance and jealousy and discontent from experiences that you could not control when you were a child, and you're just trying to make sense of it all and make it right. But Spirit does want you to know that no one is out to get you, no one is out to hurt you, no one was when you were a child. They just want you to see that there are other options and potentials available to you. Okay, and I do want to affirm, I mean that in the sense of if you grew up in a home where you were truly loved and held and supported, okay, if terrible things, if you did go through terrible experiences in your life, that's not what we're talking about here. All right, this is more about the means of physical security and support. All right. Okay, loves. So let's go ahead and pull your oracle cards now. Your reading is a little bit hard to make sense of, so I apologize if you're like, what are you talking about? Because there are so many sides to this here. But I think it will make sense to those of you who felt drawn to this reading, all right? Because that's how we deliver and channel the messages over here, is that it will be delivered in a way that makes sense to the seeker. All right, love, so let's go ahead and draw your oracle cards. We're pulling oracle cards from Nature's Whispers. We'll take this top card too. All right, so we have 31, be spontaneous. All right, it's likely if you're drawn to this reading, you might be in your 30s, 31, 32, 33, 34. We also have 48 with hope and happiness. And we have 47 laughter. All right, you could also be 47 to 48, but I'm really getting the early 30s here if you're drawn to this pile. All right, maybe late 20s. Okay, loves. So true fulfillment is available to you. It is available to you. You have the happiest card in the deck of tarot, the 10 of Cups. The Knight of Vessels is the energy of emotional fulfillment, but it's emotional fulfillment through dedicated action. And so if you are not feeling emotionally fulfilled, if you're feeling misplaced from the energy of hope and happiness and joy and laughter and fun, again, it's because you're holding on to this energy of jealousy, of vengeance, of needing to feel justified in something that was essentially done wrong to you when you were a child, when you were younger, or maybe even in recent events. Maybe there's something that you went through recently and it just caused a lot of discontent towards it. But ultimately, you are the only one that's holding that perspective, that's holding that energy over that situation. No one else is. And it's not even an energy that your inner child, that your younger self holds over those situations and experiences. It's just something that you learned and were conditioned to believe about your situations and experiences the older you got and the more your vision on life expanded and what was possible. And so your mindset around how you grew up, the types of environments that you grew up in, changed. Okay, so this is almost like I'm just seeing this energy of maybe you grew up in a 1-bedroom apartment, but you had a lot of siblings. There were 4 siblings that you had, and so you all had to share one room. Your parents had to sleep in the living room, and then that was just normal to you. It wasn't something that you questioned. And then you started to go to grade school and you realized that your best friend is an only child and they live in a 5-bedroom house and they have so much space to do whatever they want. They have 2-3 bedrooms, and you realize, wow, I wish I could have 2 to 3 bedrooms. But it's just life's different circumstances for different people, where we don't get to choose which families we're born into. We don't get to choose which struggles we go through. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But we do the best with what we have when we have it and with what we know at the time. And so that's ultimately the energy that you're working through right now, is just working on shifting your perspective about where you're holding a sense of animosity and a mindset of lack towards situations that ultimately you had no sense of control over. But your younger self ultimately, at the core root of yourself, viewed those situations as ones of joy, of support, of love. You didn't view them as a means of struggle and jealousy. That's something that developed over time as your vision expanded. And so once you bring solace to those perspectives, you'll be able to return to a space of feeling joyful, of feeling a sense of peace, of knowing that your family unit, that your guardians, the adults in your life, were just doing the best that they could with what they had, just as you are now. Okay? All right, so we're going to shift a little bit with this Be Spontaneous card here. Your inner child is asking you to go out and do something fun, but they're asking you to do something fun with the bare minimum. All right, so they're asking you to go out and find something that you can do for free. All right, so what can you do for free that feels fun to you, that allows you to feel joy, that allows you to have a sense of laughter? All right, so maybe call up a friend and walk to their house. Don't even get in the car, just walk to their house, or maybe take the bus. All right, we want to use as little money as possible for this adventure here. This is coming straight from your inner child, because it's showing you a new perspective around what it may have meant to your younger self to develop the mindset that you have around the perspectives of lack that you're holding on to in connection to those previous experiences when you were a child. So your inner child asking you to go out and be spontaneous and do something that you think is fun, that can evoke emotions of laughter and joy, but make it as cheap as possible. All right, spend less than $5. So get a bus pass, walk, take your bike out, ride your bicycle to your friend's house, to your bestie's house, or go do something fun by yourself. All right, go for a walk in the park. All right, maybe get your camera out, or your phone camera, and go for a nature walk and make some creative photos with it, or get a sketchbook, take a sketchbook with you and go sketch something that you see outside. Just do something that your childhood self would have done that was completely free or low cost. All right, I'm also seeing the crane machines. Walk to your nearest grocery store or nearest arcade. I don't even know if they have so many arcades anymore, but go find a crane machine. You know where there are some crane machines nearby, and go put $1 in the machine, put $5 in the machine, and just have some fun with the crane machines. Okay, this is going to allow your perspective to shift in some way, and it will also provide you with these emotions of childlike joy and laughter and hope and happiness. And it's going to take your mindset off of that energy of lack, and it'll bring you back into a space of just having fun for the sake of having fun. And it's not very costly, so there will also be some type of subconscious shift there around the energy that you're holding on to when it comes to this energy of like physical means, okay, and finances, and energy like that, the energy of abundance, okay? All right, love, so let's pull your next oracle cards. So we're pulling a couple oracle cards from the Secret Garden deck. All right. Okay, let's get one more. Okay, there it is. All right, so we have listen, be alert. The soft chiming bells call to nearby fairies. And we have bloom and attract more than butterflies. I love this. It kind of goes together. Be alert. The soft chiming bells call to nearby fairies, and they attract more than butterflies. And then we have surprises. Surprises with be spontaneous. Venture down the rabbit hole. All right, rabbits may be significant to someone tuning in. We also have serenity. Value quiet days with only the rustling leaves breaking the silence. All right, love. So a common message throughout these readings today is to get still, to get quiet, to sit with yourself and listen, to look left, to look right, to look up, to look down. Stop looking just in front of you. There is more available to you than you're allowing yourself to see and to bear witness to, and to even entertain the idea of. You're so hyper-focused on making something happen in just this one way and by this one deadline, but there are other options available to you, and it's only when you allow yourself to slow down, to come back into yourself, to a space of quietness and solitude, and to really listen to what's happening, to zoom out, to shift your perspective, that you will be able to see what else is available to you, what other paths and options are available to you, which will then allow you to be spontaneous in how you're going about this thing that you're trying to make happen that just isn't working for you. All right, we also have bloom. So with the bloom and the surprises, I'm getting this energy that's, again, I'm getting a lot of energy about finances, lack mindset, abundance mindset here. So bloom and surprises, if you are trying to force yourself to make money, or receive something of physical means that's connected to a sense of abundance in some way, so like a loan or an investment, something with the stock market, or like a physical thing, like maybe you have to pay rent or pay the bills, or like get gas or groceries, like something connected to money and your sense of physical means, and you're like trying to force something to happen in just one way, you're being asked to zoom out, to pull away from that one practice that you keep practicing. Go out and have fun, do that low cost fun thing that we talked about. And then also, sit in that energy of solitude, quiet with yourself, shift your focus to yourself, to something else, your immediate needs, or to just going out and having fun, low cost fun, going out, having a chit chat with a local friend, somebody nearby. Then that is when the blooming surprises of the abundance are going to be able to come in. So there is abundance available to you, specifically the abundance that you're seeking, that you're trying to call in and attract. But again, you have to shift your perspective. You have to try something different. And then there's also that deeper layer of that subconscious work that we talked about with the experience from childhood, where you're holding on to that energy of animosity a bit, but also needing to just kind of pull your energy away from that one thing that you're hyper-focused on, and realize that there are other potential paths and options available to you. And when you start to entertain and pursue those paths and ideas, that's when the buds will start to bloom. That's when the surprises and the success, the joy will start to make its way towards you. Okay. All right, love. So let's go ahead and pull one last card now. This is from the Woodland Warden's deck. And so we are going to pull... So these cards have animal guides and they have plant allies. So we're going to see what your animal messenger is and what your plant guide is. So let's see what is pile 4's animal and plant messengers. All right, there we go. All right, wow, you have the otter and cattail with peace. Otter and cattail with peace. All right. So pile 4, I feel that you have come so far. You have come so far and you're not allowing yourself to take upon that grace. You're like, okay, I've come so far, but what's next? I've done all this, but what's next? But what's next? We're not growing enough. We only have 2 bedrooms up from the 1 bedroom. Now we need the 5 bedrooms. Not taking a moment to celebrate that you're even in the 2 bedroom now. Okay, so this is your sign to slow down, slow it down. Celebrate where you're at. Celebrate how far you have come. It's not all about go, 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 push, 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 heal, heal, heal. It's also about stillness, joyfulness, celebration, laughter, reflection, spontaneity, surprises. When you allow yourself to slow down and stop trying to force something that's not working, that's not coming to you, that's when you can surrender to the true emotional fulfillment of the present moment and find peace within. Find the hope and happiness that you're seeking that comes from within you. It's not going to come outside of you, and it's not going to come at all in the external until you take a moment to slow down and tune in and listen to the peace that exists within you already. The emotional fulfillment you're seeking in the external is only found from within, and it's already available to you. It's already right here waiting for you to recognize it, to slow down, to tune in, and to celebrate you, the miracle that you are. You are a miracle just by being here, just by being alive, just by being able to listen to this reading, to see the visuals on these cards, to touch the things that are around you. You are a miracle. To use your voice to express yourself, all the things that you have overcome and healed up to this point, all the money, the abundance that you have already called into your life that you have right now, or that has gotten you the things that you have now, all of that is worth celebrating. It's worth finding a moment of peace and offering gratitude, offering joy, and doing something spontaneous, doing something fun, doing something exciting to honor that growth. All right, loves. So your animal guide is the otter, and your plant ally is the cattail. So it's very likely also with all this water energy that you may be pursuing some type of water activity this week or within the next couple weeks. Maybe somebody's going to invite you to go paddleboarding or kayaking or swimming, snorkeling, anything that involves a water sport or water activity. Maybe just going for a dip in the lake or the river, going tubing. Just something with water is coming up around that. All right, so if that is coming up and they invite you, that sounds like a low-cost activity. Go allow yourself to be spontaneous and to pursue that. The work can wait. The growth can wait. You can enjoy that moment just as you are in the present moment with peace and fun in your heart. All right, loves, so that is it for your reading today. I thank you so much for allowing me to bring forth these messages of guidance for you from your inner child. If you would like to go a little bit deeper, I know your reading was a little bit chaotic. It was a little hard to get some of these messages out for your reading pile 3. There was a lot going on here. So if you do need me to clarify anything that came through, comment down below, let me know. I will clarify in the comments below. But if you would like to go a little bit deeper and work one-on-one with me, I do offer personal readings and healing sessions. You just have to send me a DM on Instagram at selfunity, and we can book a private reading with you on there. I also have some testimonies in my highlights on Instagram if you want to check those out as well to see if we are a vibe match. All right, loves, I thank you so much once again. If you enjoyed this reading, please give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below letting me know that you picked pile 4. I love to hear from you all in the comments. All right, loves, I'm wishing you all a beautiful, blessed day. Until next time, bye, loves.